Okay, guys, welcome to another North South podcast. We out of lockdown, Darren. Are we out of lockdown? Level
No,
two?
no one's out of lockdown. It's still. Let me just close this. Yeah, lockdown 2 in South Africa, and still some sort of lockdown here in the
Yeah.
UK.
But you forget sometimes because I mean, like NBA is back, Premier League's back. In
Oh
terms
yeah,
of sport, it feels kind of normal. I'm loving the no crowd, man. I'm loving it. Like you get to hear the actual sport going on. But how's the NBA with the zoomed people in just sort of put on the screen there? That's hilarious. It's so distracting, man.
but it's such a sick concept that like
You think about it,
you
yeah. I
can
saw Shaq the other day on it.
yeah.
Shaq's big head on that thing. I'm like, what the hell's going on?
Someone had a goat.
Giannis's kid. Giannis's
Yeah,
kid was there. Yeah.
someone had a goat in it. I think wasn't it Shaq or someone else? Someone put a goat up. So
Yeah,
yeah,
so that's
but yeah,
innovative, yeah.
laugh in the bubble, hey, laugh in the
And
bubble.
then which one is it where they're streaming in what was I watching? I think it was Premier League. Was it
Yes,
Premier
yeah.
League or yeah, just crowd noise streamed in. I wanted to ask, do you know if that's taken from recording some pubs or outside, or is that just because someone's told me that it's sort of like a laughing backtrack where it's just recorded from some random match?
It's probably probably
That's
recorded from
horrible,
a
Darren.
match from the
That's horrible.
stadium.
Why are they doing that?
Right?
Why are they playing random like music during the thing of
I don't know.
people cheering?
It's just for effect, I guess. So
Nah, man, they should either, you guys could easily just swap it out for actually, well, I'm actually being stupid because you can't gather people anyway. A group of 50 people is not going to make. I don't know what you guys limit there for gathering.
uh, phew, probably I don't know. It depends. It's so complex here. Like you
Oh,
have to be
is
from
it?
the same household. Only two households can mingle
Oh, okay.
together.
Oh,
Uh,
here it's just 50, like at a funeral or wedding or whatever, it's 50. So you're not going to get much noise from that. But you should just play in silence, man. There's nothing wrong with that.
well, you can. Well, that's one of the options on Sky Sports. You can have no crowd noises, but the free view and that you just get given the crowd noises as a
Gosh, Darren.
bonus. Yeah.
Okay.
But
Well,
yeah,
yeah, well, this one's mostly an NBA one because that's been back properly and it's heading into the playoffs and it's
yeah.
getting really exciting. Just trying to bring up.
Well,
Yeah,
one
man, I was looking at the seeding today, dude. Um, um, yeah, I don't know. Before we get into that, just the last thing that happened recently, man. Do you think the refs are sort of trying to push the LA Clippers into the finals by the way they ejected Porzingis for basically not doing anything?
I don't know. It's especially with
It's
all other
been a
players.
conspiracy for years, man. For years, since I can remember, it's been a conspiracy.
The players in that came out in defense from across all the different teams in that it seemed a bit fishy. It'll be interesting to see what happens going forward.
It
What
would be
happens?
because I see here they have each other in the playoffs, which is going to be saucy.
Yeah, Clippers Mavericks. It's Clippers obviously won the first game. Um,
The thing about the Clippers that no one speaks about, everyone speaks about Paul George, okay, all star, future Hall of Fame or whatever, and Kawhi,
yeah,
whatever his
obviously.
resume comes with. That tandem, they don't play a lot together. The thing about Kawhi is they load manage him a lot, and the thing about Paul George is people forget this once, but his leg literally snapped in half and came like his leg was broken in half. The whole thing was broken.
Yeah.
So you have to load manage him naturally, all right? Um, so they haven't played a lot together, but now in the playoffs they're going to be playing not just together, but together for almost 40 minutes, 35 minutes. So there's an injury risk involved there as well. So I'm thinking maybe the Clippers sort of, I don't know, man. They'll probably, knowing them, they'll load manage during the playoffs, man. That's just how they are.
But what are your thoughts on, well, just like the Clippers Mavericks? Like, if you look at the Mavericks in the earlier part of the season, they were really up the top. They were like second, third
Oh, Darren, not even
conference.
to cut you off, but it's no contest at all. It's Clippers. Mavs got nothing on Clippers. Clippers
Even with
are
Luca.
Luka Doncic is a special player, man. He's the youngest. He's going to break all the records for being the youngest at everything. But he cannot hold the candle to Paul George or Kawhi Leonard. And if you combine them, they're unstoppable. In my opinion, if those two are on their game on any night, no one can stop them defensively, barring a few people. A few people individually. I don't think a team could stop them. Looking at it now, I can already see it. It's going to come down to the fourth quarter of a game 6 or a game 7. Between LA and LA, that's just how it's going to be. It's going to be.
You think
It's
LA?
going to be a. I think it's going to be a war of attrition. I think it's going to be what's left of, because you do understand there's something called playoff LeBron. I don't know if you've ever seen it before. He's put the entire team on his back. He'll say, "Give me the ball and let's go. Let's win it." And he'll do it
like
night
Jordan
after
did.
team, like Jordan did exactly. Literally known as playoff LeBron. There's another guy who's unfortunately injured for the playoffs, known as Rajon Rondo, previous world champion with Boston. He's also has a version of himself where he plays differently, known as playoff Rondo.
Well, speaking of the Lakers, then Damian Lillard, does he have a say in this? Because he said in the last few games.
If no one probably would, but if you got some money lying around, man, put some quid on that, for them to take the series, because that is where the upset could lie, because of that man Damian Lillard. He's just ice cold. He just doesn't care, man. But you see, I think the equalizer is going to be, I think Anthony Davis on the Lakers is just going to be all over him. He's literally, they're going to either double team him or triple team him at times, and they're just going to put him out. They're going to snuff him out like a fire. And I don't think Portland as a whole can get to a point where Damian Lillard can hit a clutch shot to get them to win. I think he could hit clutch shots at points during a game to get them mentally ahead. I don't think the team as a whole could match LA and get them to a point where. But if Portland get them to that point, Damian Lillard is cold-blooded from almost half court.
repeatedly.
Don't put him in that situation. Don't get him close to that situation, because if you do, the Lakers are going home.
What about Melo as well? He's also starting to pick up some traction.
It's like a fairy tale story, man, because it's sort of like how you look at J.R. Smith, who's back at the Lakers. I don't know why God's doing this to me personally, but now you have J.R. Smith coming back and playing with LeBron. Let's hope he fucking remembers the score this time, okay? Let's just hope J.R. Smith does that. But yeah, J.R. Smith can go off on any night like Carmelo Anthony and hit like possibly 7 out of 10 threes in a row, and then you win the game. He's an X factor. In cricket, he's sort of like a KP, or he's sort of like a Boom Boom Afridi. He will win the game for you immediately. So that's how you look at guys like that.
Because I've watched a bit of the Lakers in the bubble on that, and they haven't looked as good as what they did before the whole thing. So
and you must remember, if guys want to go back and look at our episode on salary cap, it explains in detail over like an hour exactly how it works. But when you have someone like AD and LeBron on your team, there's not much space for else except veterans, man. And there isn't much else. There's no one who you can really rely on. Besides two.
Yeah, like
have moments. Caruso has his moments. Green has his moments.
You say Lakers going into this should be the favorites to get through. Yeah. The Blazers, but I feel like the Blazers have got it.
But Damian Lillard, aka Dame Dollar, proper legitimate rapper, not like stupid shit, like legitimate artist. He's probably the best artist in the NBA, known as Dame Dollar. He just hit another level last season where he'll send you home, bro. He really doesn't care.
And he got the first or second player to ever do it, to get 360s in a season.
Yeah, man. And the thing is, now he's fell in love with the city of Portland, and he's decided to play his career out there because he could play anywhere he wanted. But when it comes to the playoff, it's the mentality. Just don't put him in that situation. The Lakers need to concentrate on not putting him in that situation. This ring is there, dangling, waiting for the Lakers, because they need to do it for Kobe. It's there. It's dangling for them. They need it.
Yeah, this one's gonna be that. Yeah, that's really interesting. It's gonna be
so much West talk, and I still want to talk about the West.
Yeah,
Rockets, Rockets, KC.
Yeah, it's
What's your take on James? Have you seen him play? Have you seen him play properly?
Who?
James
Sorry.
Harden.
Yeah.
What's your take on you think about him
well,
in terms of every
when he's trying to draw fouls and that's it.
aliens come here and we have to send five players to verse 5 aliens? He's going to be on the team. Realize that, right?
Yes.
Okay. As long as you realize he's known as that, what do you
But-
think about him?
Obviously, he's a points. He's what he is. Isn't he the top scorer?
Is that basically what you're saying? So you're saying like it doesn't matter whether your technique looks like Smith. All that matters is that you're hitting it.
Not necessarily, but it's just that he's scoring consecutively, and yeah, he's just the Rockets is an interesting one, because Harden as well can also have they rely quite a bit on him. It seems him and Westbrook, but if they don't perform, yeah, the team doesn't perform at all.
I think as a whole they're sitting at the 4th seed. I think they should be shooing for number 1 because you're taking a points god like Harden and you're throwing in Westbrook, who used to be my favorite player in the league when he was explosive and just used to dunk on everyone, and he's only like 6'2", 6'3". You could literally, I'd describe Westbrook as like the Dale Steyn level passion of playing. Like veins popping out your neck. You look like you're about to kill someone when you're going into dunk. I don't think the tandem matches. I don't like the way James Harden plays. He gets a lot of his points at the free throw line. I think he plays something that I call baby shit basketball. It's soft. I don't like it. I don't care because of its points. It's not what it's about. You must realize basketball is integrally linked to culture, which is why BLM movement flies and all that hip hop movement, and it's linked to urban culture. Can't be soft like that, man. You don't get respect from your opponents. You don't get respect that way. You got to be harder. You got to come forward. Yeah, the spot that you land in when you jump up to take the shot has to be clean, but it doesn't mean you got to change the spot that you took off from. That's all people are trying to say to James.
One thing, from what I was watching some highlights from the Rockets past few games, but with Harden as well, to me it looks like he travels like
all the time. All the time. It's not just him. Everyone in the NBA travels. Have you seen Giannis? He basically runs. He takes like rugby and runs.
Because I was like, surely he should be pulled up for traveling, and a lot of the times.
You see, the thing about James is that's a major debate in basketball, by the way, is his double step back jumper. It's basically you're allowed to take 1 step, 2 steps, and the third one you need to make the scoring motion on the third one before the foot actually hits the ground. What he's basically saying is that he's jumping once and then stepping back. But if you look at it closely, he's not jumping once. He's stepping back and then stepping back again. It's 4 steps.
Yeah.
4 steps. He's getting 4 steps. He's getting 4 steps away. He's timing it perfect, and his handles are excellent between the legs. You don't know whether he's going to go left or right. The ball's basically going so fast it looks like you can't see it in between his legs. So once he chooses a side, grabs the ball, takes 4 steps back, which is allowed more than anyone else. He's right at the 3-point line. He jumps and shoots. That's how he gets 40 per match.
Yeah.
And then if while he's going in between his legs, if he sees any sort of gap, he goes straight to the bucket. He's a lefty, and they give him free throw. They just give it to him. You can't touch him.
So Rockets Thunder. Are you saying Rockets then easily going to win the series?
I think there is a version of Russell Westbrook that would not allow a match to be lost. I severely question James Harden's mentality because he's not clutch.
Yeah, like you say, he's a bit soft.
But he's not clutch at all.
Yeah.
Not as if Westbrook hasn't come up short quite a few times as well. So you're putting 2 guys who might have anti-clutch energy feeding off each other. But I don't think OKC. Who are we speaking about at OKC here? Adams. Have you seen Adams? No. He looks like he looks like a caveman, first of all. He's a physical beast, and he's younger than me. He's younger than me, and he looks like 40. Okay? So that's who we're looking at there. I don't think there's too much else to speak about it.
CP3, swan song kind of, heading out.
But then you got to look at point guard versus point guard. CP3 versus Westbrook. Westbrook's going to absolutely put it on him.
Yeah.
Badly.
CP3
CP3 is a legend for his size, though, an absolute walking legend.
Yeah.
He's an assist and a steal god for his size. At one point in time, by far the best point guard in the league for many years in a row. He called it Lob City at the Clippers. He could throw it up anywhere within about a 5-foot range, and Blake Griffin would just grab it from wherever it is, or DeAndre Jordan would just put it in. Lob City all day. And then one that I think is going to be the best to watch is going to be Nuggets Jazz. Because when you're looking at Nuggets, you're looking at Nikola Jokic, the center, the European guy. And then Jazz, you're looking at, I forget his name now, but Donovan Mitchell. For his height, man. For his height, the guy has hops. I think that's going to be a basketball purist dream matchup. Because even if you look at a 3rd versus 6th seed, you're looking at similar-ish teams throughout the season. So I think if you really want what's happening in the basketball in the West, it's probably the one to watch. If you're not really akin to who the stars are and what the big moments are going to be, it's probably the one to watch. I can't call it. Huge fan of Donovan Mitchell. The guy's an absolute beast. I hope he stays at Jazz for quite a while. And another player that I really, really like, and I spoke about at length, I just can't remember which episode it was, who plays for the Nuggets, Bol. He's come through well in the bubble, man. He's moving like a 6'4" guy, but he's like fucking 7'4" something.
I saw some highlights of him. It's ridiculous.
He's blocking NBA players like, get that preschool shit out of here. He's literally gripping his entire hand around the ball while they're trying to shoot. He's literally blocking guys at one end, running to the other end, and slamming it. That's known as a coast-to-coast player. That's like a badge you get as a player.
And just watching him run, it's like
It's amazing.
three steps across the court, and he's on the other side.
He played those 20 odd games, or I think he averaged 20 odd points in 8 games for Oregon. That's why he was left. Humongous chip on his shoulder. You don't want to do that to a South Sudanese guy. If you look at him, you might mistake him for being soft. Watch any interview. The guy's hard. He's 100% American, and you don't want to mess with him. And you put a huge chip on his shoulder by taking him so late. So they really need to watch out for Bol, man. They need the entire league needs to be put on note for that guy, because he's Kevin Durant in the making with the chip on his shoulder. So people need to watch out for him for doing him dirty like that.
So let's just skip forward now to the conference final. Who are you looking at? Like, I think Clippers are going to be one for the East.
Let's you and I call it as it stands. Lakers, Portland, Lakers go through. Rockets, OKC. You sure? Dame Dollar, can his team get him to the moment?
Possibly.
Do you think they're getting him to the moment because they're playing well, or because the Lakers are playing badly?
Probably Lakers playing badly.
I also think so. So we agree on that. That scenario could play out. But can we be rational and take Lakers?
Okay, let's go with the better probability.
we take Lakers, Rockets on that side, and then we'll take Bol and Jokic. We'll take Nuggets, Clippers. So then Nuggets, Clippers through to the final.
Yes. And then
Lakers, Rockets, amazing to watch. That's going to be amazing to watch. You got 4 of the top 10 players playing in that match. 4 of the top 10 players in the league playing in that match. High stakes, all at it. I just hope no one's injured. Darren, I'm telling you right now, the controversial moments that are going to come out of that. It's going to be crazy.
The Lakers will definitely take the Rockets, I imagine.
I think that eventually it's going to be ISO, which is like when basically you like in between a play, you like tell someone, I want you next, come guard me. And then you come to him and then you wave off the other player. So now you're talking street ball. It's called ISO ball. 1-on-1, I'm going after you. They're minding their own business for that play, unless it's rebound. I think it's going to come down to surname James versus first name James. ISO ball and surname James is just going to have his way like he does with every team and every person in the league. So then we're talking conference finals on the West. Clippers, Lakers. Who you got there?
I don't know. It depends. Like we say, like the Lakers at the moment aren't performing as well as they should be.
Let's say they're clicking on all cylinders. Anthony Davis is pushing 23 points.
Lakers. You got to say Lakers.
Why Leonard?
But like you say, it depends.
Kawhi Leonard shut down playoff LeBron a couple years ago.
It just depends how much they're playing, bro. How much
we are now neutralizing LeBron James for the Lakers on the defensive side. But then Anthony Davis can neutralize either Kawhi Leonard or Paul George.
Yeah, possibly.
You got a past defensive player of the year.
Yeah, I couldn't call that one. I don't know.
Who do you want to win? Do you think Kawhi really deserves to go back again when he just does whatever the fuck he wants to do in the league? Goes where he wants, plays when he wants, wins when he wants. Well, you're that good, you can't do that. Doesn't mean you should, though.
Yeah,
sure. To Raptors whatsoever.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see a Clippers Raptors final.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll get onto that in the next few minutes.
So if the Raptors make it, then I do want to see the Clippers. But
the weird thing about that is Toronto love him, man. It wasn't any bad blood. I just think it was a baby shit move to do. I think he owed them one more season to possibly do it again and then repeat. And you don't just show up, win a chip, and leave. Okay, Kawhi does shit like that, but like, you show up for one season, become the greatest player of the franchise, and then
leave.
You got someone like Vince Carter and Chris Bosh, and then we played for the Raptors. Yeah. That's crazy, man.
Okay.
So
who would you call?
You know I love LeBron. You know I love LeBron James.
Okay. Okay.
I think they need to do it for Kobe. It's written. And I think that the NBA need that injection of cash for that storyline. So yeah, I'm loving the conspiracy, by the way, for that Clippers Mavs game. I want all those refs audited, lifestyle audited, everything audited. I'm just kidding.
Okay, let's move on to then the East. Getting
yeah. So too much to speak about there.
Well,
start from the bottom. Raptors Nets, because
Raptors are just gonna munch the Nets up.
Raptors have been the most solid. Okay, well, let's just mention that they are the champions of the league, by the way. They are the world champions, Toronto Raptors. So you cannot count them out. Don't be that sports person who does that. Champions are champions, man. The champions for a reason.
They're definitely making the conference final. That's
you know Boston and the 76ers. So who gets through between Boston and 76ers?
It depends.
Obviously the 76ers. Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons.
They should.
No one's touching them. They should.
Especially, the Raptors. I mean, the Celtics have had a bit of injury woes as well. So
is becoming elite. I don't think he's there, but he could prove me wrong. I have not seen a player of Jason Tatum who's that elite. Could be forgetting one or two players. Saw on Instagram today Gordon Hayward's out. So that's one of their.
Yeah, that's one of their foundations and that. But like you say, for the 76ers, if Joel Embiid shows up and he consistently...
shows up. Did you not see that ball bounce and everyone squat last season? That was that moment. That was Joel Embiid were right there to going to the finals and possibly winning the championship. And Ben Simmons, I've done the eye test on Ben Simmons. I've watched many games with Ben Simmons. Yes, he cannot shoot jump shot at all. It's because of the angle of his wrist. It doesn't. Everyone's wrist goes straight. His wrist goes at an angle. His wrist is not built to do jump shots. But when he goes to the basket, he's LeBron-esque. And I've never said that about anyone except Giannis. He gets to the basket and he puts it in. And in basketball, that's priceless. Jordan showed that. But then he's missing the jump shot. So that's if the Raptors, like they did last year, work on the fact that he's missing a jump shot, give him tons of space to the point where he's forced to shoot, just keep his numbers down.
Yeah. So, looking at that one, then like you say, okay, 76ers go through.
Hey, then you do see Raptors in the Eastern Conference Final.
Yeah, then
see that happening.
Yeah, I definitely think Raptors are going to go through. Kyle Lowry and the rest of them really.
Lowry, Pascal Siakam,
Yeah, Van der
all of them, man.
Fleet.
They have like Van Fleet. All of their players are like 80, 84, 85 level out of 100.
Yeah,
The most consistent elite. And they're all coming off a chip. So that's not like bright lights for them. They're going to do
they've
it.
done it. Yeah, and then or Pacers Heat. T.J. Warren, Jimmy Butler. Do you know what's going on?
What is this TJ Warren thing, Darren? Is this a bubble thing?
I don't know. It seems to be pre-bubble.
I'm seeing LeBron James, Michael Jordan, and TJ Warren in certain record books now. Who is this? What's going on here?
I don't know. I was going to ask you about it.
I'm not going to pay attention just yet. I don't like these players who just pop off and then lose their mind. Like, first of all, where were you? Where were you before the bubble? That's my first question. That's the first reason why I'm not giving it too much thought. And then how long can you keep this going? And third of all, what the fuck's going on?
Yeah, I was looking at they were selected some teams, like the starting team, the bubble team, and TJ Warren made it. Houston starting 5.
50, doing kinds of crazy shit every night.
Yeah, so but then there's some beef between him and Jimmy. So I don't know what's going on there, but yeah, Heat took the first game.
Jimmy Butler, you know about him? He's elite, man. His mentality's there as well. He did it for Timberwolves. He's a proper SG. He's a number 2. He can get to the basket. He's got the jump shot. He can dunk. He can defend. He's got speed. He's got agility.
Does he have the players around him though?
I can't stress. He's got rebounders. He's got the best. He's got a Son Whiteside with him. So you got an all-around good player who's a beast mentally, and you got someone who's gonna league best rebound. So he's gonna get you the ball to do whatever the fuck you need to do. So if they manage to put anything together, I can see them beating the Pacers.
I definitely think they're gonna beat the Pacers. Yeah,
I think so. And then
Bucks.
I think Giannis is literally going to walk the Bucks through to the finals of the East.
Bucks lost last night. They lost the first game versus Orlando by quite a bit, 12 points or so.
What happened? Did Giannis not show up?
I don't know. I didn't watch the game. I just saw the final score.
Since that game happened in the early hours of this morning, it's just been work and then now this podcast. I haven't checked yet, so we'll reserve comment on that. But hey, what's happening there? I thought this man is gonna just,
Yeah, I thought Bucks or Orlando. I thought like you said, I thought there was a walk in the park to the.
But you know, there is a bit of controversy around Giannis's offensive play, right?
Yeah, I heard it.
People shacking. He's like shacking, like how Shaq used to do. Just backing down, just monstering 4 steps and a slam. There was some beef between him and Harden because it's both extreme opposite ends of play, like the most opposite ends of play. Giannis will just run there and dunk. I've seen him travel so many times. No one even notices it. Refs don't even notice it. So I'm not really impressed by that style of play. What do you think about Orlando? A very quiet underdog team.
Yeah, that's right. You haven't heard much of them. They've just been under the radars, and all of a sudden,
the Nets. Remember, the Nets have Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. The Nets is a sort of super team, but both those guys are just sitting cool.
Yeah.
I think the next super team is going to be Orlando because they're sitting with solid players that they've managed to accumulate that don't have the hype around them like Brooklyn. But look at Brooklyn. They had Kyrie for a bit. They never had Durant. They're still in the playoffs. Can you imagine next season?
Yeah, that's...
Can you adding Kyrie Irving and fucking Kevin Durant?
Yeah, in combination, it would have been a different ball game at the moment. But
do you want to just get one quick? It'll take like 10 seconds. With that, I think they're taking the Raptors. I think they're taking 76ers, and I think they're taking the Bucks. And I think they win the league, though. I think they'll make it to if they had both those players. I'd actually say that.
Yeah, I would put it at that. Then definitely the Raptors playoff, the series would have been a much more interesting one.
If Durant and Kyrie played, that seeding wouldn't be there like that.
That would probably be up.
Yeah, they'd probably be up. They'd either be versing the Pacers or the Celtics.
Yeah, much easier road
So then,
to
so
travel.
then now let's talk Raptors versus Bucks for the East Finals.
At at the moment, if Bucks make it that far,
We
I
have
would.
to though, because looking at Orlando Pacers and Heat, unless Jimmy Butler decides to carry the entire team on his back for 4 games and not lose,
Yeah, that's probably not going to
that's
happen.
asking a lot of.
So I don't know. I would say Raptors, just because of
I
them.
also think they're very. I think they know how to win, and I think that people are going to consistently write them off and do stupid shit, and they're going to let them win.
Yeah, and Bucks as well rely a lot on Giannis and that, and they do have. It seems like the other players are on the fringe and that don't always show up. And if he doesn't perform, again, the team just does shit.
The thing is, the thing about the Bucks is so every time they trade someone or sign someone, he is put in first in their thought process. How is this player going to gel with Giannis? How can he add? How can he build? They even made how he see the ball running, dunking. He used to step back, jump and stuff. Doesn't really do it. Barely shoots the three. So yeah, when Giannis is not playing well, or you get someone to neutralize him, who I have not really seen someone properly neutralize him before. Unless that happens, Bucks usually win. But it looks like Orlando might have found a way, because if you manage to neutralize Giannis, the whole team stops functioning as a whole. Especially people don't realize this. Giannis is a proper two-way player. He'll defend the shit out of you if you're not careful. That's what breaks down, is when you stop him from scoring, his defensive mentality starts to drop, and then the whole team spirit drops because you stop getting turnovers.
Yeah, well,
And when there's a turnover for the Bucks, most teams get about 80, 70, 65, almost, I don't know, like 95 turnovers. Who's going to stop Giannis one-on-one?
yeah,
No one.
no.
They're not even going to try. So it's...
That was probably like one of the, maybe from last night, because Orlando scored over 120.
So they obviously... But yeah.
Yeah, so obviously the defensive wasn't there. So like you say, probably just his defensive game went down, and everyone around him does the same, goes down as well. So I think the Bucks rely heavily on Giannis. So if he's doing well, the Bucks are doing well. If he's doing bad, the Bucks are doing bad. It's simple.
That's that simple. So East, you think Raptors? I think Raptors as well. So then we got a Raptors-Lakers final. It's not much of a matchup, man.
What do you mean?
Whoever comes out the West, if Clippers come out the West, they're walking all over the Raptors, even though that's Kawhi's ex-team. The Clippers are really, really good, man. That's why we spent most of the podcast speaking about the West.
This is true.
So who comes out the East? It doesn't really work like that at the moment, the way everything is loaded. Whoever comes out the West, unless some random team like Portland or some shit come out the West.
If we
but I think mostly this should be used as a betting guide, because you can because there's so many playoff games, you could link a whole bunch of bets per a 2 or 3 day span, and you could really win because they give decent odds on them.
Well, I guess that's what me and you shall be doing.
We were quite well judged playoffs. I don't know if you remember, we were sharing cards and things like that. We were winning a few of the times, or at least if you're awake, you can cash out when you're ready.
Yeah.
But it's all odd hours and stuff, so that's a bit hard.
Yeah. Well,
I remember waking up on placing my bets over 3 days, waking up early in the morning on the second day, seeing like 4 out of my 7 games won, cash out that stuff immediately, man. I remember those mornings. We should do that again. Good idea.
So yeah, that's interesting. So okay, final, Raptors, Lakers. You say Lakers taking it every day of the week, and
over 7 injured. I think they are. Clippers, I think, again, if the Rockets make it, again, they're going to beat anyone in the East. If Portland make it, it might be a matchup. But again, Portland walking over the East, man.
So yeah, like you say, it's the West are going to take it. Someone from the West is taking it.
Yeah, definitely.
So
Definitely. I think there is a bet line available for that. If that bet line's available, take it. I don't think you're going to get much, though. You
yeah.
probably get like 10% on it. That's how sure that the West's going to win. But we
Well,
said that last season.
yeah, it's interesting. We'll have to wait and see. That's the whole joy of this now, the playoffs.
Yeah, last season, we didn't know Clay was going to tear his ACL. We didn't know Durant was going to tear his Achilles. We didn't know that Curry was going to start playing well and carry the team. We didn't know that Draymond was going to do all that. So last season, if you were going to take that the West was going to win, you'd probably get close to nothing. You get close to 1%, thinking that the Warriors were going to take it. And if you gave the Raptors any sort of cash on your bet, you would have 20 times, 30 times it. I don't know, something crazy like that. So that's sport for you.
Yeah, and that's betting. It's the odds, and there's always a favorite. There's always a
In basketball, I recommend if you can't really get into a game, place a whatever quid or rand or whatever on it. That you don't mind losing, and I promise you, it will make you watch, learn the rules, see what's happening, because it'll make you interested, and then you begin to learn the players and stuff. Because it's very foreign for South Africans. South Africans are not tall, so there's not much basketball going on. I know that the Central Africans who are taller play basketball, like the Sudanese, the Nigerians. It's more popular for them. So for South Africans, it isn't, but we are sports crazy. So the South Africans who do get into it, there's enough in it to enjoy like you do other sports.
Yeah, and I think we'll end it there. And yeah, maybe we'll pick up again once we're nearing the conference finals and that, and then yeah, see how things go.
If we called it or not, eh? That's always fun.
Yeah, we'll have to look back and see.
Yeah, we're not liable though for any losses, but we're willing to take any winnings you can send it our way. That was a good one. Cheers.